got next. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to season 3, episode 13 of the Street Fighter I Got Next community podcast discussion. It's your host with the most, one half of the IGN crew, the drink commander himself, Shadow Ace, and I'll be the moderator for the podcast this evening, joined by my co host on production, always making sure the vibes are smooth. The may have making himself, Sir Retro, and of course, as tradition, I want to first thank Sir Retro for agreeing to host this discussion on his platform. So if you're not already following the live broadcast channel on Twitch, hit that follow button to join in on the live shows on Twitch because we do interact with the live listeners in the comments. The reason I have assembled you all here this evening is to get your views and opinions about the Street Fighter series. Now that Street Fighter 6, with the latest entry in the series, has been out for about almost a year. The platform is just an opportunity to discuss how you feel about the game general. Everyone may hold different views and opinions towards the game and its community, and this platform is an opportunity to express yourself in a constructive manner and let the world know what time it is. Start off first by introducing our panel this evening. I'll go first. My name is Shadow Ace. I am a Jamie slash Ed player, commentator, podcaster, bracket runner, TO, a man of many hats here in the Atlanta, Georgia FGC community here, mainly associated with Data FGC. Just ran their Max Mode event about a month or so ago, 2 months ago. They're fantastic event. But yeah, we just been playing fighting games competitively for over 10 years now, probably about almost 15 at this point. So, yeah, I got the battle scars, aka the gray hairs, to show you guys. I came in as a young man, but now I am getting older and wiser. So it's always good to see how the local scene is developing throughout this time, and it's just been an amazing journey so far. And I believe Sir Retro, how you doing today?
Hey, what's going on? For once again, I'm doing right. But of course, those who do know and those who do not know, especially, I'm so retro, the other half of the I Got Next podcast series, along Shadow Ace, and definitely a man in many hats as well. Specifically, the head TO of the Middle Georgia scene, specifically for the Reboot Retrocade Gaming, and part of the esports organization Swag Out Nerds. So, pretty much been fulfilling many roles in that as well, helping out coaching, training, competing, and involved in so many other projects as well as doing this and doing the video editing for this tournament series, the podcast series. But of course, we actually going to have a very interesting, very special guest, and this is something that going to be a very different perspective that you don't get a chance to hear in within the FGC itself. You may get them involved with them once in a while, whatnot. But of course, I did hint at that. I said esports organization, and that is a big clue. And you see it here. So, Shadow Ace, who do we have as our special guest?
Oh man, we have a guest here from the esteemed group, Swagged Out Nerds, mainly located in Macon, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. If so, I do apologize. But yes, um, Swagged Out Nerds member Verus here is live and direct with us. Verus, introduce
Yo, yo,
yourself to the
yo,
world,
yo.
man. How you doing
What's
today?
going on? What's going on, you guys? I appreciate you guys having me. For everybody, this is your first time hearing from me. I'm Varys, also known as John, is my daytime name. But you could call me Varys here. I am COO of Swagged Out Nerds. I'm a Street Fighter casual, hardcore gamer all around though, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Like I told you before, I've never done anything like this, so I'm really excited for it.
I'm excited you decided to come through with us and go on this journey. So yeah, we'll have a good episode, man. Plenty to talk about, plenty to go over, and so if you guys missed out on previous episodes, please check them out on Reboot Retrocade Gaming's YouTube channel for that playlist for full episodes on the Reboot Retrocade Gaming's podcast list on YouTube here. So yeah, let's first start off here by just getting to get your gauge your opinion on, because you said you're Street Fighter casual, so coming in from the casual
Very.
perspective, um, how how do you like when you were able to play and try out Street Fighter 6? How do you feel about it so far?
So don't crucify me for this, okay? I have been to a bunch of Street Fighter tournaments, and we've hosted a bunch of Street Fighter tournaments. I have yet to play it since it's come out. But I told Sir Retro here I'm gonna get behind the sticks the next time we see each other and actually try it out. But what I will say is I love the way it's energized the community. Um, when Street Fighter Five was kind of sunsetting, I you could tell when you go to tournaments and you go to meetups that people weren't really on Street Fighter like that. And it really seemed like a lot of guys who were playing Street Fighter were playing Guilty Gear. So with Street Fighter having the history that it does, and when I was much younger, playing on a Sega Genesis, playing Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha, I'm happy to see the resurgence of Street Fighter. Like there's so many people playing it now. So I think that's really interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's where like you said, that's where you mentioned the growth coming from that scene. I think this game definitely brought back a lot of players who may not have been too fond of the previous title, the Forbidden Game, aka Street Fighter Five, and they just, well, I'll just wait for six. But it's kind of like how a flowchart goes whenever a new Street Fighter goes. There's that quote unquote honeymoon phase where
Hmm.
people like go through the game and they try to figure out the mechanics, and they have to decide if they want to continue to play or stop. And then they're like, oh well, I missed this. I missed the older title because you could do this, 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 and I think that'll be the circle of life, all
Yeah.
fighting games as I would think, because you have so many memories with the previous titles and stuff. So it's like when something new comes out, it's just gonna take you a while to get adjusted to it,
Hmm.
and you have to be at that point where you decide if you want to keep going with it or not. But with Street Fighter 6, I think it's just opened the door for a lot of opportunities for players to, not
A
just
lot of
from
new
the
players.
competitive standpoint, yeah, just from a casual standpoint, because they
Hmm.
put a lot of different single player content into the game for people to enjoy outside of just that competitive nature. They have like the battle hubs and the
Right.
avatars, and you can
Right.
create all kinds of wild characters in there, and people have fun just doing that. And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. That's just something that's like, even if they can't compete like that, if they could just watch matches. They can watch matches, and hang out with their friends and stuff like that. So I think it made a lot of players get interested, and maybe further down the line they want to try their hand at competing. I think this is something like this is a key feature for the growth of the scene. Is to have that content where you could bring in someone who just doesn't know, not you
Mm-hmm.
specifically, but who does not too familiar with the fighting game logic and the controls and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
just for them to try to do something and have fun doing just that, and then at that time they could decide they want to go pick up the sticks and get better and stuff like that. I think that's important for a lot of the fighting games now that are
I mean,
coming
that's what
out
happened to
or that
me.
are gonna.
You
Hmm.
know, playing Soul Calibur. I don't know if you guys remember Soul Calibur 2 that had Weapon Master. Um, that got me into Soul Calibur. I had never played Soul Calibur before that. And what I see from Street Fighter 6, at least the modes that I've seen, it seems like they're trying to offer that extra thing to, like you said, get the casual guy like myself, playing. I think they, from what I've seen, I think they've done a good job. But I also understand what you mean by, players come and go. Look, man, I'm a, you know, first person shooter. I've been playing Battlefield since Bad Company. I've been chasing the high of Bad Company 2 for years trying to get it back. And so I know what guys mean when they're like, man, we wish it was, this was in the old game. I wish it felt like this. And unfortunately, with video games, I think we're always going to have that group of people. So, I don't think it's going to change with, the FGC. I just know that the competitiveness of it helps drive that because, when you're on top in, let's say, Street Fighter 4, and then 5 comes out, and somehow you're just not as good and you can't figure out why. I can understand how that could, you know what I mean? I can understand how that could
Yeah,
push someone away. But, you know,
yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because of you could I guess you could substitute the 4 and 5 for 5 and 6 because that's
right.
exactly how I kind of feel with 6 so far. Not to say that 6 is a bad game. It's just you're not finding the success you used to have like when you played the other title and your performance kind of like takes a little hit. Especially just I'm saying like from a competitive standpoint where you're not seeing the results you would usually see, like how confident you would attend an event, knowing guarantee like if you attended the event, you're guaranteeing yourself a top three finish, just
Right.
for competing. Now it's for now when you go to events, it's rolling the dice because the player base is wider now. There are more people
Mhm.
competing. There's more people learning and growing with the game. It's a brand new game, so people are you have players that are either adapting really fast and picking up on a lot of things than what other players are, and they just found their niche. They found their success and getting the results that they're looking for. So you have to, the game is still fresh. It's still fresh.
Right.
Again, we're closing
I mean,
in
what
on
has
the
it been?
one
What?
year.
4 months it's been out? Like it hasn't been that long. Has it?
No, it's next. No, next
No,
month.
it's been like almost a year.
Yeah,
Has it really been a year since Street Fighter 6 came out?
yep. We're
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
there. Next month.
yep,
You
Holy
yeah.
know it.
crap. Man, time, man. It goes by so fast.
Hey,
But yeah, yeah,
it zooms and
yeah.
zooms, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that like it's just the fact of you having to get over that hump like that that like, you have to try to get it over that hump if you want to do that though, but you have to want to be able to grow and get stronger and play different people and try to level up. But that's just something
It's something in
you
you.
want to you would
Yeah,
have to do.
it's got to be
Yeah,
in you.
yeah, you
It's
have to
got to
get
be
past
in
that
you.
barrier.
I was like that
Hmm.
with
That
Soul
dog.
Calibur. Like once I started playing, Soul Calibur was the last game I played online, FGC wise at least. And I think it was 3 or 4. I can't remember, but it was something about that game. I would get my ass kicked online, but I didn't care because I was like, I'm gonna get better at this, and eventually I did. But I mean, you gotta want to push through it, you know. But I think it's a drive kind of thing, and some people are meant to be more competitive than others. So when those people find it and they like, oh, I really like this, it pulls that out of them, you know. I think of it just the same as somebody like, I don't know, LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, you find this thing and you're like, I'm good at it, so I'm gonna dive all the way in. I think I love seeing that. I love seeing that from the FGC. So I think that's what I've really liked about seeing Street Fighter 6 come out. That there's so many people that when they talk to them, they're like, man, I'm gonna get this right. And you're watching them get better from tournament to tournament. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, seeing them from going 0-2 or 1-2 a lot in
Hmm.
tournaments to just get in top three and eventually get in the win, their first tournament win. That's always a great feeling too as well.
Right.
But it's just it'll take time.
Right.
It just will take some time. I know people want that instant gratification and they want instant results, but when you're at someone who's just asking, when you're playing against a community in your community with people who are just as competitive as you are, it can be difficult. It can definitely be difficult because it is a brand new title.
Hmm.
Street Fighter Five, as we said before, kind of dimmed down during its later years. So people weren't playing it too much, but it still has its player base as of today, but it's just not as high. But for Street Fighter Six, in this instance, since it's a brand new fighter and it's brought in so many different people, even people who's never touched a fighting game before, who
Yeah.
are like, hey, look,
Yeah.
this Street Fighter Six, man, it's kind of fun. I mean, you never know. You might have a coworker. You go
Yeah.
to work one day and you
Uh,
might overhear somebody talking about, hey, man, this Akuma guy is about to come out, man. I saw the trailer for it, man. I was like,
My wife
wait,
has
wait,
talked
did
about
he?
maybe even picking up the sticks. When she said that, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I was like, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding
Yeah,
me!" But
I mean, they have
hey,
an accessibility feature now. Was it
hmm,
dynamic and modern mode to
hmm,
help out with like just playing the game and doing combos and special moves and with modern mode people kind of just develop their own meta and get stronger from that. And I remember when the game first came out, there was kind of questions on, hey man, you guys might need to ban modern mode in tournaments. And I'm like, nah. That's an
hmm,
accessibility feature that
hmm,
that can help out newer players to be able to compete with people who've been playing, fighting games for such a long
right.
time. And then, but I think the design of that modern was to be like to help people transition over to classic. But I think over time people just accepted it for what it is and just like, all right, this person's playing modern, no big deal. At first, it didn't get that limelight that we thought people was gonna give it, but now it's like widely accepted. It just took some time, and then now
Hmm.
it's like, all right, now we got really good, strong modern players out there. But believe it or not, even with I feel like it's a game where you could put the family on, and
Hmm.
the family would come over, or you'd go over to the family, and you could just see the kids playing, and you tell them about modern mode, and then now they can do a one button SPD. Now they can throw a fireball like the other people. So it's like stuff like that is very important to and I think you'll see it more going on into like future fighting game titles where they have more easier mode game like control styles
Hmm.
just so these players can pick it up and be able to compete with the best of them. I think there's another game. It was called like City of Wolves, Marker Wolves, and
Yep,
it
City of the
has a
Wolves.
similar feature. Yeah, and it has a similar feature too, where it has like a modern input. But what they call it, I forgot what they call it, like Big Brain or something like that.
No,
Where
Smart.
it's like
They call it
smart.
Smart.
It's called smart controls. And they call it smart controls, but it's modern. So it's like, hey, you gotta be smart to pick this. So, you know what I'm saying? So this it's stuff like that is like can go a long way with you're seeing fighting game developers starting to look at those options and decide, yeah, maybe we should put this in our title. Maybe players are just having really difficulty, so difficult doing these, special moves, and maybe the combinations are a little bit tougher for them. But you have people on the other side of the fence is like, people are getting babied, and they'll never learn
Hmm.
how to really play a game if they using this and stuff like that. So that's an argument that can be held. Like you could talk about
Fred
that for
said the
hours.
same thing about Guitar Hero, so I mean, you know, you kind of you make a point, but at the same time, the idea behind it is attracting your casuals, right? If you can attract 100,000 people, and you know, because you have this accessibility feature, but then if you're able to get at least 10% of those new people that you attracted because of that feature to be lifelong players, I mean, you're helping bolster the community. And I do think, to your point about the developers, I think they are trying to pay more attention to the community. Some developers are. Um, because they want to, obviously you want people playing your game as a dev. So
Yeah,
you give people the features and the support that they're looking for that would help that. You know,
yeah. I mean, I would rather have casual. Now, no disrespect, but to the competitive side of it, but I would rather have more casual players at least picking up the game, because even if
mhm,
it didn't work out for them, it segues the interest into fighting games. Like, look
exactly.
at the era we're in with like technology and communication, as far as
Mhm,
how accessible, information is on the web. Like
mhm,
back in my day, back in
mhm,
the hating days of the arcade days, they didn't have all of this, right? You had to either find out by word of mouth, or um, just, I guess, somebody knew something and they told you.
mhm.
But back in those days, that information wasn't readily available like that. So the fact that there's so many different resources now that can help people get into and discover fighting games, I think that's really great, man.
Yeah,
I think we are on the verge of something, on a breakthrough, like
I
as far as
absolutely agree
fighting
with
games can
that.
come. Yeah,
Absolutely agree with that. We haven't even scratched the surface of what this is going to be because to your
potential.
point, I'm 35. But by the time I'll say quote unquote stopped playing fighting games, I, I didn't find out there was an actual scene until maybe 2 years later. Like, I mean, that had to have been like 2008 by the time I found out, like, oh, people meet up and do this. It blew my mind, and at that point, I was firmly in the battlefield camp. At that point, that was all I was doing. That and Gears of
See?
War. But
See, see,
yeah,
nowadays you just get you probably run into an ad or something about an event that's
exactly,
coming up in your area from
exactly,
Facebook or something, Twitter. You have an account, you could just all of a sudden see, oh, there's an event in your area.
exactly.
But back in that day, if
You didn't
you
know, you
had to
just didn't
have
know.
a yeah, you didn't know. You didn't know the stuff it existed. So
Yeah.
like your story is kind of like similar to mine's, where I didn't know about fighting it. Like there were tournaments and stuff like that existed, and
Played with
I
people
didn't
at
know there was
school and in the
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
Come on, come over. I got a Sega. We're gonna play. I got a GameCube. We're gonna play. Like I've got an Xbox. We're
Yeah.
gonna play. And by the time I got to what, 360, that was the second Xbox. Yeah, 360. Man, once I plugged that thing into the internet, I was, yeah,
It opened up a whole new world for
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep. Oh, that's just like one of the stepping stones, how we just keep developing all along the line, and now you're starting to see fighting games show up in the most unexpected places. I'm
crazy
thinking about it, I
places.
think like your organization, right? Swagged Out Nerds. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll dive into that. But to your point, you guys are an esports group, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I say this, you guys work with like maybe a variety of different local programs within the area. Like, do you guys go like for schools or?
Yeah, actually, we have a vested interest in the schools in the Middle Georgia area. Obviously, there's a ton of talent to be pulled from out of there, and gaming is the future. We don't just believe this, we know it. And showing young people that there is more to gaming than just playing video games. I mean, there's a ton of jobs involved in this. There are things that you can build a career from your love of video games, depending on what you want to do and depending on your talents. So I will say we have a vested interest in the schools. We partnered with the county Parks and Recs. We do events for them. We work with the kids that do not summer school, the summer program. Yeah, thank you. Summer camp. Thank you. Summer
Yes,
camp.
sir.
And then there's there's spring camp. We host events for the students there. And what we want to get into is a little bit more educational stuff. We're working because I can't say everything. I will say we are working with the schools in the area. Beyond that, you guys will have to stay tuned. But there's definitely, I mean, you guys are in the Middle Georgia area, so you guys are going to see what we got going on. And to be honest, we might be asking you guys to help us out in the near future with some of this stuff. Um, but I do think that the growth of so the industry is going to grow no matter what. Because I mean, look at us. We're all around the same age. We are from the generation of parents or kids whose parents said, "Turn that game off." And I think that now, see, you had a flashback there.
Why did that instantly click? Yo, that is
Little
wild.
PTSD there. I know, I
Pass,
know,
yes,
I
go.
know,
Okay, sir.
I
Mm-mm-mm.
know,
Continue.
I
Go ahead.
know. But look at how the industry has still flourished amongst us being the generation whose parents, and to no fault of their own, who basically told us, get off of that. It's useless. Remember, we came up in the war against video games. Oh, these things are making kids
Against
violent. Like,
yes.
like,
Yes. Yes,
so,
that's wild.
and the
Uh-huh.
industry is wildly bigger than it was
Mm.
then. So it's not going to stop. So showing kids how that they can get into it early or make themselves adjacent to it. I mean, most of us probably would have been game designers had we not been told that. Not me, for the record. I tried it. I hate coding. So that went out of the window when I realized I had to do that. But yeah,
That
yeah. Vested interest in the schools. That's the best way to put it.
you mentioned a lot of good points there too as well. I mean, it is the future, rival schools, what I would call it here, because fighting game courses are being taught in schools. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they have meetups, like
They do.
competition meetups, right?
They do.
Like
They do.
not just in
They do.
fighting games. I think like
Rocket
I
League.
think Smite,
Fun
something like that.
fact: the schools
Hmm.
cannot officially do fighting game tournaments
No,
because
no,
they're
they can't.
violent.
Yeah,
Because they are
most
violent.
they
So they do Rocket League
can't.
most of the time. Things like Rocket League, and they'll have esports clubs where they'll do meetups and they'll do FGC stuff. When we work with the kids, they love fighting games. We're trying to find a way to incorporate that while quelling people's
Hmm.
feelings about the violence aspect of it. I don't see it as any different than putting a kid in boxing, you know. But
I think we'll get there.
yeah,
I think that'll be the next breakthrough
yeah, yeah.
is finding a way to well, there's obviously levels to it, right? For the
Hmm.
violence. Obviously, you can't put something like Mortal Kombat into a
Right,
into schools like
right,
that. You would have to it would have to be more
right.
tamed level of competition. But I think we'll get there. It's just going to take some time for like approval, and then of course, parents are another thing. There's concerns and stuff like that. How it's
Hmm.
going to affect their behavior, their performance in classes and schools, and that's also important to look at too as well. So there's a psychological aspect here as
Hmm.
well. So that's just
Hmm.
a milestone that'll eventually one day is that someone's going to break through and do it. and it's going to happen. Fighting game courses, they're now being taught in schools, even in colleges. I
Right.
was reading up on something like in Berkeley, EDU, like in California, they're doing like a art of fighting game course. I mean, fighting games have come a long way. I mean, who would have thought you could sign up for courses about learning and competing in them as a college course? I know some schools have sports programs. Guests we had on the podcast in the past by the name of Philosopher. Shout outs to Mighty Motor Mondays. Works with those programs for campuses. Like competition is at an all-time high with fighting games, and with technology
Mm-hmm.
constantly growing and changing, the scene could only go up from here. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many opportunities that can segue into career fields, like you mentioned, right? Especially in
Absolutely.
IT and
Absolutely.
marketing. Like
Absolutely.
that's why I love fighting games, man, because it bring together people who both enjoy and share a passion, and you just never know who you can run into. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like a guy, I was at a tournament event. There was a guy that I was running casuals with one day at an old event, and he was looking for a job, right? And I told him about the company, about a company. He applied, he interviewed, he got the job, he even got promoted, and he moved on to something even
I
to
am
an even higher
so
paying position.
glad you said that because that is
Yeah.
exactly the kind of thing that we are doing.
Whoa,
Because
whoa, whoa!
yeah,
How did I put
yeah,
that in the air? How did I put
yeah,
that in the
that is
air? Yo,
exactly
that's
we
wild.
actually got somebody certified in IT certification, Security Plus. He's got that. He's got a job now. Went from working in retail to working an actual IT job. He's entry level, but he's a young guy. And in 2 years, he's going to take that as a stepping stone. And our program does include mentorship throughout afterwards. So once you get your cert and you get a job, we're not just going to say, all right, go be free now. We want to help mentor you through that. So just a little bit of extra background. Me and my partner, Jason, the CEO of Swagged Out Nerds, we're both in IT professionally. That's what we do for a living. And being gamers and IT professionals, there's a lot of overlap there, and we are just trying to get people into that. And then, as far as the growth of the industry, too, I like what you said about how big it's gotten because I also believe that fighting games, out of all video games, esports, have the easiest path to becoming a major sport like baseball, basketball, football. I think they have the easiest path to doing so
Well,
because the one-on-one
yeah.
aspect of it.
Hmm.
It's like watching tennis or UFC. I mean,
Mhm. It's
like
it's
some of
it's
these
getting there. It
majors.
is legit getting there. It
Yeah,
is getting there.
yeah. When you look at
Like
some of these majors, these guys are on stages. There are hundreds of thousands of people watching. I'm amazed by it. I'm amazed by it.
I
So
mean, of course, Chris brought up. I know we'll have the topics, but the big thing that just announced not too long ago, going on the $60 million world tournament, esports tournament,
hmm
and then Street Fighter Six, Tekken, fighting games is considered as part of that. Actually, the
hmm
world, of course, the players who won or top four or something like that, and got some of the top placements in Evo Japan, and
hmm
they qualify for it. So already, like, and going to be Saudi Arabia, and it's already seeing that happen now at a crazy global level with that much money.
exactly, exactly. We are young in this right now. Well, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna get bigger than it is now. I don't be surprised if it's rivaling major American sports. I'd say 20, 30 years from now we'll see that kind of thing. But yeah,
already, but something about it being in the Olympics too
that
as
was
well.
crazy.
So
When I saw
yeah.
that, I was like, wow. I, that just blew
Hmm.
my. I thought they were crazy when they started adding the X Games to it. I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing video games in the Olympics now.
It
Yeah.
all came. It all came from just pressing some buttons. Video game. The concept sounds so simple, but it just expands the whole entire platform with there's so many possibilities. I mean, you can even like put like you could probably put it on. like for IT stuff, especially if you work with your scene, if you're doing a TO in a TO, you do commentary, stuff like
Hmm.
that. You can actually now you can put that on you put it on your
We're
resume and
listen.
people
We
work.
help you with. We are working actively to help with this kind. We're gonna have. This is a much longer conversation. We're not gonna be able to cover here. We're gonna have to get Jason in here for this conversation too. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, there's so much in it that I love tournaments. Love tournaments. I love going to tournaments. I love hosting tournaments. I love being at tournaments. I love seeing guys compete in person. But um there's the industry is so much more vast. And like I said, when I first got into it, I wanted to design video games. And I was like, man, I'm gonna be in this industry some kind of way. Long story short, I gave up on it and went to the Air Force and started doing IT for a living and was like, well, I'll just play video games for the rest of my life. And then somehow I ended up starting this company. And I get to have cool conversations with people like you guys. So it's paths out there. You just gotta. It helps if someone kind of lays it out there for you too. So that's definitely something we look to do, which is
One
why we care
hand,
about the schools.
one hand washing the other, for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you said, it's still ongoing there. You mentioned a group, right? You mentioned a group you were a
Hmm.
part of, Swagged Out Nerds, and I guess now we can get to that here before we could. I do want to circle back to this because there is something interesting. Well, I'll get it out the way before I go to the next topic. We were talking about how like there's job opportunities. For sure, you never know who you could meet that could have connections could change your entire life, and it's so deep. I think that's what some people may not understand, or well, I'm not gonna say understand, or they may not have see it like that. Where just that being, just going into an event, just being a casual and just talking with people, and you just never know who has a connection to try to get you in the door with somewhere and you'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm kind of looking for something." And hey, well, I work here, and this, we're
Hmm.
hiring in this department. And then, like I said before, it segues into something much greater. So you just never know who you can meet at an event. That's why I always try to
And it's
encourage
putting
people,
yourself out there.
especially if you haven't
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, putting yourself out there. Go to your locals. Go to your locals. Go to your locals. Go to your locals. That is the
Preach.
best way I can put it. That is the best way I can put it. Go to your locals, man. You never know who you're going to meet there. And even if you do meet the same people constantly, this may not be the case for everyone, but if you're having a good time while you're there, at least mentally, it's good for you. At the very least, it's good for you mentally. That's what I would say. But putting yourself out there. It's like you said, going to casuals, going to tournaments, telling people who you are, talking to people. And don't be afraid. Like if you want to be in something, talk to people who are in it. Either they're going to talk to you about it or they won't. Luckily, they won't be the
I,
only one. So, you'll eventually
I
come
throw
across
you an. I
someone.
throw you. I throw you another example. You know how people like at events, people set up the streaming equipment and set up setting up the consoles and stuff like that, and doing
Absolutely.
production.
Absolutely.
So what I told someone was to put that on your resume. If you help set this stream up, if you make sure you check bandwidth and all that stuff to make sure the connection
Absolutely.
is smooth,
Absolutely.
that's
You're an
I
entry
that's
level
IT
you're
experience.
an
That's
entry level network technician.
yes, that's
Easy.
that's experience. That put that
Easily.
on your resume,
Easily,
please.
easily. And you know what? I'm going to
Please
give
do
y'all
that.
some more IT knowledge here, just so you know about the industry. You could take a little bit of experience like that, and I tell everybody this if they're trying to get into the industry. Take a little bit of experience like that. Go get you a help desk job. You're going to make like $35,000 a year. It's not going to be a ton, but if you take that job, and most of those jobs will pay for you to get a cert, you take that in a year or two, you could easily double, in some cases, triple that salary. Easily. Easily. And if you, especially you people out there with degrees, very easily you could do this. Um, so, take take that information, take the things you do in gaming, not just that, but like if you're a multiplayer gamer like myself, you're good at communication, especially if you're playing something like Apex. You gotta communicate, right? Planning on the fly. These are skills that translate in the workplace. So it is more than just gaming. Make it work for you. If you can, make it work for you.
It's beyond.
Definitely.
I'm telling you, it goes beyond.
Definitely.
It's
Like I
just
said, this is
so
a long
much.
conversation. We could really get into this one. I you know what? If you guys want to have me back, I will gladly come back because
Oh,
this
well,
is this
sure.
is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
a like if you guys want to do the
Mhm.
business of gaming, we got to get Jason in here too, but like we can dig into that one for at least an hour, hour and a half.
Oh, for sure, man. We'd love to, get a good perspective. We try to cover multiple angles, because all of that correlates. All of it correlates to what goes on, and people might not know what goes on behind the scenes in regards to gaming organizations, gaming groups, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Business practices. On the surface, people will just see like they'll go to an event, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks nice. Look at this advertising and stuff like that. Oh, who created the advertising? Who made the
Exactly.
design? How did they make the
Exactly.
design? What company did
Exactly.
they use? Like,
There's so many people out there. And you know what? Since we've started this company a few years ago, I interact with other people on the internet, and through that, you're going to just meet other people who have started nerd adjacent, nerd adjacent businesses, and I've watched them basically take their talents. Like I like video games, I like anime, I like this nerd adjacent thing. I'm gonna make a business out of it. Like guys who paint Warhammer figures. Listen, man, you can make a lot of money doing that. But just to say, like I said, everything. That's why we're swagged out nerds, man. That's why we're swagged out
yeah,
nerds.
yeah. So we got to figure out now. I guess we get to the point where we got to figure out. We've said this a couple of times during the start of the podcast. Swagged out nerds. We saying swagged out nerds, but we got to feel like who is swagged out nerds. Tell me about your group and what you guys do. I do remember you guys from the first ECCI circuit that was held in downtown Macon.
And
There was the
making it the
Cherry
whole
Blossom
thing.
Festival.
Yeah,
The finals were held at that Sports Center Hall of
yeah,
Fame.
yeah.
Great production and presentation.
Thank you.
I didn't attend the second season you
The
guys
one this
did, but
year.
I think yeah, so I think there was like a Ken player who like won the last chance qualifier retro, and then he just
Yeah,
won the whole event
yeah.
from there.
Listen, man, that guy
Hmm.
came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere and beat
Hmm.
everybody. And I was like, yeah, that was a wild thing. But anyway, yeah, Swag Down Nerd. So we started back in 2019, right before COVID started. Um, and originally we started because we were like we wanted to, build an esports team. Through doing that, we realized that's not what we were really looking towards doing. So but we did know we wanted to do events. So we kept doing events. We partnered with Kirk here or Sir Retro. Once we met him, we knew like, okay, well, what can we do to help you as opposed to trying to build something, just from the ground up. Work to do just what we said. If you want to be in something, go to the people who are already doing it. If you want to be in something, go to the community. Talk to the community. They'll tell you what they want. They'll tell you what they need. And so we kind of just went about it like that. And then we started to partner with people like Sir Retro to put on events. And as we started putting on events, that kind of just grew. And then we got a little attention from the city of Macon. They support now, the counties, the schools. Like I said, it's just kind of grown from the idea of starting an esports team. And it's just become that's why we call it an esports organization because we're doing events, but we're also doing consulting services as well. Within esports, like I said, with some of the schools and things like that. But at its heart, we're gamers. We're very very passionate about video games, and we want to see the industry grow. But we also want to see people benefiting from the industry besides just the developers. And if you want to be a developer, please do so. We want to help in any way we can, help you grow. We work with um, tech companies in the Georgia area, schools, like I said, colleges, a lot of different entities. Like I said, it would take a lot of time for us to go through everything that and everyone we've been working with. But like I said, we're just esports focused. And I think our biggest focus is how do we integrate esports into other parts of people's lives, right? And I think that'd be a really good way to put it. Like if you're a
If
gamer, how do we
you,
integrate that into your life?
mm, yeah, those programs are definitely the starting, starting function and the segue that it goes into, especially.
Did we lose?
Um,
There we go. We lost you there for a second, Shadow.
hello,
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you now. We can
hello.
hear you now.
yeah, we lost you a
Oh,
little
okay,
bit.
okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I was saying like you have to want to be able to do that type of that research and try to do the legwork to try to
Hmm.
communicate to make that things happen. Like you said, communication is a very important part of growth,
Hmm.
especially for fighting game scenes.
Hmm.
There's so many opportunities that are
Hmm.
just literally sitting there and waiting to be, harnessed. Like,
But you know what? I have to say this
mhm,
because I like that you just said that, and I really, really, really need to say this. Sir Retro, we need to give the whole community needs to give him a huge thanks because he is the one who orchestrates a lot of that. He's the one who makes sure that people get this information and that people are aware of the events that are happening. And he's doing this for tournaments all across the state. So having someone like him is a shout out to Sir Retro. That's what I would say.
I
indeed,
appreciate it. Thanks.
in freaking deed, man. Retro, you retro talk to us, man. You mentioned that, yeah, of course of course, to give Sir Retro his flowers, invaluable asset to the Georgia scene. Here he does so much for his community. I couldn't even begin to like list everything he's done, and he has a long list. Like it's probably just another day in the office for him, but I will say this: he has a catchphrase that I use outside of just fighting games too. And I think Retro, you might know the catchphrase I'm talking about. You said it in a previous podcast, or maybe the episode before that. What was it? What was it? What was it, Retro?
And it'll be
You
always
remember?
forever. Support
No, no,
what
no.
you claim to love.
There it is.
Support what
That's
you
it.
claim to love.
Woo! That's it.
We
That's
need
it.
fire emojis right now.
That's it.
We need
That
fire.
is
I
it.
wish this was
It
like around the
oh
horn. I
my
put the
god.
fire around you. He's like, yes,
That
support
quote is
what you
too good.
claim to
Too
love.
good.
Listen, that's a model for life.
A model for life,
that
bro.
is
That's a
that
model
is
for
a
life.
model for life.
And
Not
I,
just the FGC. Man, I'm writing that
right,
down.
because the thing is,
I'm writing that down.
and I'll speak on it because since we do have the esports, we have now both the esports FEC in this podcast episode right now, and that's the thing that and you've seen it, Verus, that many times people will put on tournaments and just try to do events just the
Mhm.
sake of just having it, and many esports teams and groups they come and go, and that was like one of the things that we've seen a lot. And
Mhm.
me and you talk. And I talk to everybody, of keeping us, for our esports organization, keep us grounded with and helping with the FGC because historically we had these, we always have these clashes between the corporate versus community, and that's like the two
Yeah.
C's that I always have seen. And I know y'all guys, made your promise about not trying to be like, the people in suits or have people in suits that we call them to take over things that the FCC had passion for,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
people
we
do
get
like,
pushback. Yeah, go ahead,
huh?
Kurt.
Say again?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And I was saying that, and a lot of times people, well, like I said, and I mean corporations in general, and companies, and you know, and esport, and I say some esport organization, I would say they love to see the gaming stuff. They love to see the gaming tournaments. They love to see Street Fighter. People love to see the FGC and this and that. But there's a they don't support it like they supposed to. They don't really support it. They just see it as a okay. I see a tournament. I see money,
Yeah. I
and that's
think
why I
it's
want.
three things. I think it's three things. And the first thing is I have to again point this out. It's people like you. People like you are why what we're doing is working. Support from someone like you who says, okay, these are the things that we need, who has that connection. It matters. It matters. It matters. And then it's
Mhm.
not just that, it's that there's more to this than just take other people's money. You know what I mean? Like, how are you helping other people? Like we're saying, Shadow, like how am I helping the community? How am I pushing the community forward as opposed to, hey, come to this tournament, give me your money? But I mean, for the past few years, we've been trying not to raise our prices simply because I wanted to be more than just come to this tournament, give me your money, right? And then the third thing is we actually love video games. I mean, me and Clark will spend hours gaming. So, like, I think sometimes when you deal with esports organizations, they are corporate. A lot of the times they are bigger, but you know, a lot of the guys running this, they come from some other big corporation that wasn't actually esports. They just got a job here and they're like, okay, well, I'm a business manager, so I'm going to build this business without actually caring about it. You know what I mean? It's like a poorly run football team. You got an owner who buys a team just because he wants to own a team, but he doesn't care about football. Doesn't
Yep.
care about the actual sport. He just cares about the dollar. And you see that when teams are terrible. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a good analogy for that. But I think it's those three things. People that care, having people like you that care, having a company that legitimately cares about video games, and having people that want more than just to take something from someone else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we're trying to provide jobs, and not just that. People have told us they want the scene to grow. So we want to try to bring in those sponsorship dollars. And I mean, we get pushback from the community because of that. I don't really call it pushback, but I would say we see the skepticism and we understand it. And, we're okay with it because I think if we continue to do the things that we are and support the community, they'll be like, okay, you are really here to look out for us as opposed to just try to take us for something.
And
So
it's
yeah.
unfortunate that it does happen, but like you said, part of that corporate, you know, I wouldn't what would I call it? Like espionage? Like they do they just try to sneak into the scene, see what's going on, see what they can scope out, if they can get some resources or something, and and see what they can profit off of from there. And unfortunately, there are people like that are out there. Um, and it's just genuine trust. It takes a lot. It takes a while to build something. It just
Yeah.
takes time. You can't. It's not an
It's a
overnight
long game.
success.
It's a long game.
Yeah, Rome,
It's a
Rome,
long
Rome
game.
wasn't built in a day. It wasn't
Mhm.
built in a day. So it's just going to take time to build and grow. And the people who are with you, your day ones, those are the
Mhm.
people who are going to carry you. They're going to help you with the support
Absolutely.
because they see your progress. They see
Because
that
they
you're
were in the
working hard.
trenches with you.
Yeah, because otherwise they
That's
wouldn't
why.
be here. They wouldn't be there with
Exactly.
you if
Because
they
you're
knew the
in the
vibes were
trenches
bad.
with us. That's right.
Yes,
That's right. That's why we love
exactly.
Kirk. Kirk been in the trenches with us since day
Oh man.
one. Since day one. Kirk, do you remember Mage? Exactly.
Yep. Yep. I remember. Um,
Exactly.
for those who
Exactly.
don't know,
Since
that was
day
the
one. It's something
mm,
that didn't happen. It's something that didn't happen.
and
But
you know,
but we
yep.
still work with some of those people too, though. Shout out to
Right, right.
Skulls, by the way. Yeah, shout out to Skulls, by the way.
Yep. And
What
I
a
mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna ask who outside of you, Verus, who are the core staff of Swagged Out Nerds? I know you
It
say
would
you're
be
the
the
COO,
CEO.
so
Yeah, I'm COO. So CEO would be Jason Clark. Our publicist is Lacey Howell, also known as Dino. And then you have Kirk. He's the tournament master. Kirk slash Sir Retro. He's our tournament community master. We call him a head TO, but he's
But then they call me now Mayor Macon.
yeah. Kirk has many names. He has
many names, a
many
lot of
names,
names in this scene.
many names.
It is.
Exactly. And so it's us, and then we have other people who support, like my wife, my partner's wife. I can give a few shout outs here. Shout out to Ferg. He's a cop in the area. He was also in the Air Force with us. Oh, by the way, most of us were all Air Force. That's how most of us met. Um, Not Sir Retro, but me, Jason, Lacey, my wife. We were all Air Force. Ferg, he's our local security guy. Who else? Those are like the integral
I think I'm
people.
the
Am I
only
missing anybody,
non-militant.
Kirk?
Um, not no, not that I can think of. I know you have other people that
Yeah,
you
we have a ton of
socially
support. Yeah, we have a ton of support.
because like yeah, I think I'm the only non-militant person in the group.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you are. I mean, Samantha's not military, like Clark's wife.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
together, together, everybody achieves more, and it takes that unit to hold the glue together. A good solid team, um, the background that cares is the foundation, the blueprint of a healthy scene for making it happen. And if you have, because I've again in the past I've seen people try to go, do it solo dolo, or maybe they may have had a little brother or a little sister to try to help them with it, and it just didn't last
I'm
long.
not gonna say you can't,
Yeah, it's
but
not
I wouldn't do it.
impossible,
I wouldn't go
but
about it
I
that
wouldn't
way.
recommend.
You're,
Yeah, I wouldn't
uh,
recommend.
you know what though? The person who does, I applaud you all that much more because I know you've been through the fire. Because doing if it were just me, I, this would have never even happened. If it were just me, this would have
It,
never happened. Truth be told, Clark is the Jason. He's the reason the company started because I mentioned the idea to him. He just wouldn't let it go, and so I was like, "All right, let's just start the company." And then he met Kirk, and we went from there.
hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a segue from moment from there from the growth of that organization. Now we'll touch on that a bit later, as far as because I remember you were mentioning about the plans, like maybe future plans. Maybe there's something there that you can kind of reveal, but can't reveal at the same time. It's in the works for Swagged Out Nerds, the group itself. Like you guys have events coming up, or there's something in the works
All
for
right, so
that.
let's talk about the circuit. We'll talk about our circuit. So the circuit's coming back again for another year. This time the circuit's going to be separated from Easy Kai. So points from the circuit will not lend to Easy Kai seedings or anything like that. Easy Kai is going to be just a general admission. There won't be a last chance qualifier or anything like that. Uh, but for the circuit, what we're going to do this year, we're going to obviously we're going to do something for our point leader, and we will see about doing a culmination tournament for it, separate from Easy Kai. But as far as events goes, we have that. But if you want to get into the more educational job placement stuff, here's what I will say. If people are in the community and they are looking for jobs in IT, they should reach out to us at the moment, that's what I can say. You should reach out to us because we have things that are options to us. It helps when we have more people who are coming to us about it. But yeah, I would say if you're looking for job opportunities in the IT realm, come talk to us, whether you have a degree or not. Uh, we actually like people who don't have degrees. For the record, I only have an associate's. Um, and you know, we pride ourselves on being able to show people that you can make it without just a bachelor's degree. Now, for the record, Jason also has a master's degree, so we're pretty well rounded here. Um, but I would say that, and as far as the schools go, we are working on something with the Middle Georgia area, and that is all I can say about that. But once it comes out, I will make it a point to come back here with you all and tell you all about it. I will announce it here for you all. There'll also be another
Oh my
press release most likely, but I will do something with you all. Come here and announce it. You may not be the first to know, but you'll at least be second.
okay.
But
That sounds promising. You said something for the whole area, huh?
uh
Okay, I kind of like
yeah,
that. So.
yeah. But let's see how things go for the moment. But even even beyond that, regardless of whether some of the contracts we're working on right now come through or not, we're still going to be doing these things. We still have other avenues outside of the Middle Georgia area that we're working. Uh, 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 Job placement is a big part of our business strategy. Big part of the business strategy. So I would say that. So if you are interested in anything IT or tech related, please, please, please do not hesitate. Come to some events. Talk to myself. Talk to Jason. Talk to Sir Retro, and we'll do everything we can to point you in the right direction. I hope
Was
that
anything
answered
to
the
take away
question.
from that? It does answer the question. If
Okay.
there was anything to take away from it, it's to know that there are opportunities available for you. It just takes time. It takes patience. It takes
Absolutely.
the will, the will,
Absolutely.
the fire to make it happen. Yo,
I have a
you
statistic
have
for you
those
too.
things. You
I
got
have
that, yo.
I
You
have a
got it.
stat for you too, real quick. In the next, I think 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a 30% increase in tech jobs in the state of Georgia. That's a big number.
Look what they're building down here. Look how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
facilities they building down
If people didn't know, Georgia is becoming mostly Atlanta, becoming a tech hub. But Atlanta and the surrounding areas, Middle Georgia especially, are becoming tech hubs. Augusta, they have a whole cyber unit for the DoD that's brand new out there. Ton of jobs in Georgia. So yeah, if you guys are
Oh,
looking to
yeah,
get in IT,
they have neighborhood like neighborhoods built specifically next to facilities for people to live in. Or am I thinking of
you mean
is that
like
in Florida?
DoD does? Yeah, they do, but to get into some of that housing, you have to meet certain requirements for the DoD as a civilian to get into some of the housing because most of it's reserved for like military. I don't know those requirements, but I do know that there are certain parameters for people to get into that housing if you're like a DoD employed civilian. However, the benefits of being employed by the DoD are numerous. Um,
Hmm.
they do have housing in certain areas, where you might be able to get a discount on housing. I mean, obviously, if you want to buy a house, you can get deals there. Sometimes you can get no down payment, just depending on your job or what your status is. So many things that are available to you that people just don't know about. So yeah. Yeah. Like I said, this is something we could really it'd be really good if we had Jason here, but this is something I'd love to come back and do, and I can convince Jason to come and do it here too.
Oh yeah, we would love to love to have you guys
Because you're
come in
asking
here
good
and dive a
questions.
little bit deeper. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's more.
You're asking really
There's
good
definitely
questions.
more. I'm
Yeah.
trying to like
I know we don't have a
not
whole
make
lot
it
of
too
time.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to not make it too much, but there is a lot to dive into.
Yeah.
And we might
Yeah.
have to I might have to even clear a schedule, be like, all right, I think we might need like a 3 hour block on this one. Just
Yeah.
to
I mean,
cover a
we would,
majority of stuff. So yeah.
yeah, we would gladly do that. We would gladly do
Yeah,
that.
man. But
Because putting the information out there is half the battle, man.
mm, no,
So,
for sure, man. And you touched on a lot of great topics. We were talking about several different things, um, and I'm glad that again. Thank you so much for talking with us. Now, retro, I'll cover this, and then if there's anything afterwards you want to talk about, Verus, just let us know
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
here. But from the casual perspective, I'll dive into these two topics, and then we can go from there. But they're more or less fighting game related.
Yeah, let's
And
do it.
this was in relation to the Akuma trailer. So the Akuma trailer for Street Fighter 6 came out a few weeks ago, and I just want to know, Retro, if you took a look at that, you saw that.
Yeah, I'm ready for a year two though. But okay, I'm not. I love Akuma. I I I respect Akuma being there and so forth. But on the real though, joke aside, Akuma looks interesting, and I was very curious about his what new tricks he'll have up his sleeves, and the way he looks. Oh man, it's gonna be pretty entertaining, especially considering the fact that they are trying to vote him to be legal to use 2 days before Combo Breaker.
Oh, wow. Are they
Man, that's
really?
wild.
Yep, they
That is wild.
yeah, the head TO sent out emails and apparently and regarding the patch because they're releasing it May 22nd, which is 2 days before Combo Breaker, which is a major. And normally by rules they would say maybe a 2 weeks to a half
Or at
week.
least a
We can
month.
well, I say at the latest. I say at the latest 2 weeks before. But yeah. Give
Right.
it. But the thing is, of course, the thing is that a lot of times there's and you see that's where like at times the company don't really I won't say communicate with the community per se because they actually literally work on it. They're working on this. So and they have a timeline to try to reach or whatever. And sometimes there be events unfortunately that fall right before the big patch comes out or all that type of stuff, and they may not be able to communicate to say, oh, well, there's a conflict was happening. Let's go ahead and wait for let's try to get this done early ahead of time, or let's wait for the do the patch afterwards or whatever. So, but yeah, I think
I
Akuma's going to
wouldn't set
be
that precedent if I was a gaming company, but I understand what you mean.
right now. Yeah, and that's just like the more outside, just the patch side of it. The well, not patch the corporation company community part of it. As far as the gameplay itself for Akuma, um, yeah, he looks entertaining. The demon flip situations. I'm trying to imagine. The combo scheme. I know his combo potential is going to be crazy, and I think the concept of him, you know, doing even crazier stuff. The super, the weird fireball ish super he does, and you can follow up afterwards. Oh man, that did catch me in my eye. And then like the combos with the demon flip, and then to drive rush and do another combo. Yeah, he gonna be berserk.
I did watch the
I'm
trailer, and
huh.
I did watch the trailer, and I was watching the combos, and I was like, man, that's yeah, yeah.
Well, Chris, I
But
mean,
I think they
uh,
made him like with lower health. So I
yeah,
think he's gonna be one of the first characters with lower health in the game,
yeah, he gonna be
lowest
powerful as
health.
hell.
Mm.
He's gonna be really strong though. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's what it is.
Yeah, for sure, for
Probably.
sure. I mean, because historically it's been like that for a long time, where he's gonna be a very powerful character, but he's gonna be almost a kind of almost a glass cannon with health wise. But the thing is that the weight, uh, the oh yeah, that's right. And there's the move list. Modern controls will not have a single button rage
Oh
raging demon.
wow.
Oh no, no, no. They said no, no, no. You don't get away that easily.
Nah, you're gonna have to learn how to use them.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
but
to actually learn how to use them.
yeah, yeah. You still do the same concept, like light, forward, medium, heavy. But yeah, so you can't just easily. Oh wait, I'm about to die. Oh, let me go ahead and just press one button. Rage and demon. Nah, but I think like the character himself. Like I said, I'm not as interested into the character as everybody else is, but I'm happy for everyone. I I would love to see some Taquito though do some damage. I think Taquito will be extremely satisfied with his boy being back. So I'm excited to see it.
Hmm.
I'm
Why
excited to
why
see
do
him in
people
action.
hate Akuma so bad? Like what's up with that? Like why is that a thing?
Well,
I
no,
mean, historically he's always been a strong character in the
Right.
majority of
very
the games he's
consistently.
been in.
Right. Okay. I was wondering if it went deeper than that. That's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to clarify if it was deeper than that.
Well, for me, no. The reason I personally don't care much about Akuma is not much of the gameplay of him. It's more just like, okay, I just want to see more new characters for Street Fighter Six because I
I
know
agree
like
with that actually. I agree with that. And I love that Tekken does that. You know, like they try to throw a lot like new people at you. I really do like seeing new characters in fighting games. Mortal Kombat used to be really good at that. You know.
yeah, but I know that. But in general, is the thing is that I mean, Akuma's essential, probably also to a lore too, and which I was interested
Mhm.
because the fact that he legit is trying to surpass the Sasuke Hado like to another extent level every time, and I'm like, what crazy stuff you gonna do? And apparently, you see that. So the lore, of course, part of it's the lore, part of it, people in the community they love Akuma. Like he's like one of
Mhm.
the biggest iconic villains in
Right.
gaming history, actually. You
Right.
know, so it would be weird to not have that type of him to make a return. Now, because it'll be hard to try to replace him of a sort. Of course, like Bison, for example, is gone, but JP is
Mhm.
now kind of like taking over for him in that sense because he still have the cycle power or whatever. And
Mhm.
there's Ed, but even though he may not be he may be anti-hero rather than villain, but
Right.
still, the fact that I'm just more interested. I'd like to see new characters and stuff for it, but I am interested to see how Akuma will play out, and then especially how people want to discover him in Combo Breaker at a small window, and then how the players, certain players that are big for Akuma, how they gonna play with him. So I'm very curious about that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen like his core kid is there. You know, he even has some new moves, and he takes heavy inspiration from his Street Fighter Five version. I think the Omega Street Fighter Four actually has a lot of moves taken from that mode and put into Street Fighter Five and Street Fighter Six. I like for example, GJ, he's not a motion like his soul bot isn't a charge. It wasn't in Omega Street Fighter Four, but it's the same as it is now in six from there. So there's no one like you said, there's no one button demon, but the input is now easier. So instead of doing, light, forward, medium, heavy, I think it's light, medium, heavy, the modern version. There's just no directional input for it. So I think it'll still be kind of easier to do. He has like the teleport command grab. He got multiple demon flip, the air fireball. But I knew they couldn't make him bad. The only way he would be bad is they made him like a charged character or he damages himself to use special moves or some of his specials are tied behind like an install. Um, I know Combo Breaker is Kuma in the new patch. It comes out like we said 2 days before Combo Breaker releases, and more than likely they're gonna let it rock. I know a lot of I know the
I
TO
mean, that's
director was like,
crazy,
"Dang,
isn't it?
y'all really want to let this
Like,
happen at a major?" That
won't like a third of the players be using Akuma in that case?
I mean, it would be a 1 day Akuma, like a day one, like
That's what that's what I'm
1 day of
saying. Like,
practice.
that's what I'm saying
It'll be
because
Yeah,
fair
no one
game.
knows the matchup, so they're just gonna take their chance off the skill alone.
Yep.
yeah, and then
Okay,
certain
okay.
players pick them up.
They want
Shoot,
chaos.
that's chaos. And then here's the thing on top of that,
I
right?
like
So
chaos,
it
so
comes,
I.
mhm,
I get it.
yeah. So if because it comes out with the balance patch, right? For every other character, you also
Mm,
have to take into account other character changes. You don't know what their
yeah,
changes are unless you go
yeah,
into the lab and study everybody's change.
right.
And
And then
that,
nerfed and
that's
buffed some
another
people.
thing.
That takes time. That takes time.
Yeah, that's gonna take time to do that. So it's gonna be chaotic, man. It's just gonna be pure chaos. 'Cause it's like, all right, if I go with Akuma, who's gonna know how to fight this? Who's gonna know that this move does this in this
Right,
situation? How are they gonna block? You know? And then
right.
their
Like
character
if
may
he's
have
got
gotten a new
immunity,
change.
like if you got frames of like immunity and stuff like that, if you don't know it, you're yeah,
That's
that's
it. That's that's it. But I'm like you said, you're
man.
here for the chaos. I'm here for it too. So we both shaking hands on that part. On that, I mean, they specified there'll be major changes. So when you say major, getting like a system rework or something. But
Mm,
I'm in the camp of just waiting for the official page for the changes. I
yeah,
know High Fight on Twitter and some other players posted some changes in the Kuma test build that they got to play. But I'll just wait
Right.
for the official release because I don't think this is the season two patch because Akuma is still in season one. I think season two patch would probably be something different, but we'll see how it happens, man. Akuma is a character that has a lot of eyes on him. Um, some people was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna play six until Akuma comes out," and when I said, "Bro, you should be playing right now because
yeah. You
if you
behind
Yeah.
the
lost,
curve
you're gonna be
now.
lost."
You're
Yeah,
behind the curve
yeah,
now.
yeah. You gotta at least know, how the mechanics in the game work before you could be like, "All right, I ain't gonna play it until Akuma come out." But we'll see, man. Definitely, 2 weeks away from that, and Combo Breaker, I can't wait to watch that. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But outside of that particular topic, before I dive into the next one, Verus, was there anything you'd like to talk about?
Nah, not in regards to that. I mean, sure I could, but you know, we can move it along.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 So, basically, I'll just give you some time because I'm saying like anything you would not just that Kuma thing, but I'm just saying like anything in general you wanted to talk about or
No, no,
discuss
no.
in the
Let's keep it
pod.
going. No, we can keep
All
it
right.
going.
Okay. All right, we'll keep the energy going then. So we'll dive into this last topic before we close out here for the comments. But once again, thank you so much for joining us here on episode 13. Verus, swagged out nerds. Hope you guys got a lot of really good information from him in regards to his thoughts on esports and just life philosophies in general. So like I said, a lot of things that can be applied to life, it can come from fighting games or just, video games in general. So just always think about that. Like you said, in the past where video games were shunned, now it's
Yeah,
like, all right, now this game could get me a job. Now
yeah,
this game could get me $1 million. Now this game could get me
yeah.
$1,000. So
Yeah.
look how the tables have turned.
Right, right. We were
So
nerds.
we were nerds. We
we
were
were nerds. We were
shunned for
nerds.
playing it. Turn that game off, bro. Turn that game. Oh, come on,
Exactly.
no. Turn that game. Now
Exactly.
it's turn
Having
the
to
game
turn
on.
the TV all the way down so you could play at night. Come in your
Yo, with the
room.
green bar.
And listen.
Yo, the green bar for the volume going all the way down.
Oh
Static TV.
man.
What, channel 3? Was it channel
Yeah.
3? Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have the game turned
Yeah.
on before you turn the TV on so you don't hear the static when it comes on and you don't hear the game boot up.
Yeah. It is, yeah. You gotta skip that
Man.
screen and then that's why you can you see you know the tech.
Listen,
You
man.
know the
My
tech, bro.
PTSD is kicking in.
Man, shout outs to Shout out to Sanyo TVs, man. I don't know if people know
Right,
about that one, man. Them
right.
Sanyo, what's it called? Them Sanyo TVs, them
Mm-hmm.
old school ones, man.
Whew,
Play them
CRTs,
Genesis
man.
and stuff in there.
Throwback.
TRT days, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. But but yeah, let's move on to this next topic before we get out of here. Don't want to take too much of Versus time here. So this last topic was an interesting one here. I would say it was for low budget games, right? We was talking about like low budget games being dead on arrival. I know Hunter X Hunter, the gameplay trailer dropped,
Oh,
and it kind of
oh.
reminded me of those Naruto GameCube games that came
Yeah,
out
it did.
like in 20,
Yeah, yeah,
2002.
yeah.
It looked
They
kind of
they
rough,
missed
yo.
that
I ain't gonna
wave.
lie.
They missed that wave. They
Yeah, they
I
missed.
saw that trailer
Yeah,
too
I
and I
don't.
was like, ugh. But you know
Yeah,
what,
it looked.
man? People put
Mhm.
their time into that. So I'm not gonna beat up on it too much, but it didn't look appealing. I'll say that.
Yeah, not the strongest, not the strongest output. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like a 3v3 arena fighter, which seems to be the
Yeah,
trend for anime games recently.
yeah.
Like, I think the last one 3v3 was that Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and then
Hmm.
there was like the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, but that was another
Yeah.
game that was
It had
pretty
it
busy
had
on
its hype
release.
for a minute. It was big for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A Power Rangers fighting game. Yeah, let's go. And
Mhm.
then over time, it did get better, but it also got worse, in my
Mhm.
opinion, because it kind of like turned into Touch of Death City, like after the mechanics got changed.
Mhm.
Um, but I always think like if a game graphically looks bad, people will dump on it because they might think they'll because they might think it will play a
Poorly.
certain way. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think it was
And I
like
hate that too, man,
we-
because I'm a real big appreciator of something with crappy graphics. Like when Minecraft came out, I was like, this looks so bad, but I'm gonna play it. I can appreciate terrible graphics, so I'm with it.
would you rather have a game with bad graphics and a great story, or
I play
a great
Fallout
story?
too, man. So let's you know I've been playing Fallout for a
Yeah.
long time. So like graphics being poor in situations is not something I'm like extremely foreign to either. Like
Hmm.
um I
Yes.
mean, yeah, I love Nintendo games, so you know what I mean?
No, not the always generation behind.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, not
listen,
that. Nah,
it's where I started, man. It's where I started.
it is, man. The countless Saturday mornings. Come on, that
Exactly.
cartoons are over with, yo. You know,
You know,
was it?
as far as the low budget games, man, it sucks because they get this bad reputation because I bet something that will be lower budget or lower quality, sometimes there's a good game under there, man.
Mhm.
Um
I mean, there's a lot of hidden gems. I mean, there's people might not be in the spotlight like that because it's
mhm,
not this graphically crazy looking game, and oh my god, it looks like a movie and so
mhm,
realistic. Look at the textures
right,
and stuff like
right,
that. And it's like,
right. You
you
don't need
look at
that
it and
all
it's
the time.
like,
And I'll probably I don't know how much of this you guys put on social media, but I'm sure someone will find it and say what they have to say. But Monster Hunter Rise, loved that game. Graphics, terrible. Like in comparison to World, terrible. And I played Rise before I played World. So, you know, didn't bother me any.
I don't mind the sacrifice, in graphics, but as long as the gameplay is like
And I thought the gameplay
has
was
something that
great.
grabs my attention and
Yeah.
it keeps it, then I kind of can rock with it. But
Hmm.
if it looks bad and it kind of plays
And it
bad, then
plays
I'm kind
bad,
of like,
I'm off.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
nah.
I'm out of
This
here.
ain't it.
I'm out of here. Like I said,
We'll forget the
Battlefield,
next one.
as a Battlefield person, I don't know if people remember Battlefield Hardline, but that's a good example of that. Hated the way it played, hated the graphics. I was just like, man, get out, get this off my game.
I'm going back to the. I'm going back to something that looks appealing to me.
Yeah, I went back to playing Battlefield 4
Yeah,
until
yeah,
5 came out. Yeah.
there it is. I was gonna wait for the next one. Yeah, it's all right. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But before we close up shop here today, Retro, do we got any ads?
Yeah. Of course, ironically, it's not going to be about fighting games for now. Actually, no, technically, there's one or two rather that's actually beloved in the gaming community, but they're big news though. So, where I find it? So, this weekend actually, we're gonna have our Dance and Sports Party tournament. We're gonna have Tekken Dance's Revolution, Pump It Up. Then we'll have some featured non-fighting games, or other non-fighting games included, which actually is ironically popular within the FTC, like Mario Kart 64. There's some trash talk about that. NBA Jam.
So y'all just gonna give Big Boss free money? Is that what you're saying? For Mario
Well,
Kart? Is that what it
that
is?
may be true because um, no, he might have challenged, but
Yeah,
of
somebody
course,
can beat him.
alongside Woodjammers and Tekken 8 Ball and so forth. The thing is, not only if you win for certain games like DDR, Pump It Up, Mario Kart 64, and Tekken 8 Ball, the winner of those certain games for first place will get a 4-day badge to MomoCon happening Memorial Day weekend. So if
Wow,
you win Mario Kart, you got free entry to MomoCon.
that's got like it.
I,
That's really good.
I mean, all those years of Mario Kart 64 practice and how long you've been playing since you were like 5, 6, 7 years old.
All 30 years of practice.
Hey, it's gonna pay off. Yeah, no, don't worry.
30
You
year
get money.
experience.
You get money on top of that. But the bigger prize is also the convention. So,
Right,
but
right, right, right.
yep,
We'll be at MomoCon too, so come hang out.
yep. And of course, here we have on the stream schedule. You see on the stream that we have the full schedule. I'll blow up a little bit more if I can. But we have the full schedule for our May. So we'll have other tournaments. We actually have online tournaments for other fighting games right now at the moment. But some of us are going to not only just MomoCon, but some of us are going to Comic Breaker for the first time. A few of our players are
Oh,
traveling out. Yep.
Who's going? Can we say their
Um,
names here?
yeah, Big Boss DP. Shouts to him. I believe also Mundo and Hutch.
Hey, Hutch.
And I'm trying to think if FTC Chris or anyone else going. But yeah, I know at least three of our guys are going, and maybe more because probably like Chato or and Blunderbin. Yeah, so
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
so cool. The thing is that we since now this is it. Like this is how the example this is the result of us growing. We actually now gonna be in multiple places at one time. Half us gonna go to MomoCon, half us gonna be a comic breaker.
Nice.
So I'm excited to see our homies in the Little Georgia scene.
Shout out to Middle Georgia scene.
Yep. Shout outs to y'all. They're going to be traveling. We also Chris also said that many of us are going to CEO, and already some of us booked our flights and hotels for even Evo. So that's some of the big things we're doing, traveling. Of
I'm gonna try to
course,
come to Evo, man. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm gonna try though, because I haven't been to Vegas in a while and I really want to
yeah,
go. And going for Evo sounds like a lot of fun.
yep. Definitely, I will say go. If you have not been yet, I'm obviously I might try to go next year because this year I'll be working doing other stuff.
Hmm.
But for those who don't know, I've not seen the full promo of this yet. But the MomoCon tournament that's happening, if y'all guys is still in Georgia, want a little minor event to go to, like a minor major event maybe. But MomoCon is going to have their events. So we're gonna have Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat, and then on the side we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and of course bring your own controller. And of course the thing is that me and thanks to Swag on Nerds and to Skull as well, and people at MomoCon, yours truly, me and Verus going to be there at our
Yeah,
booth. So come
yeah,
see us and check us out.
yeah.
You might,
We're gonna be a MomoCon. We're gonna do a free play training cash game booth. Is that what we want to call it?
yeah, Well, basically, yeah, just a free play booth, and then y'all guys want to do money matches, or do you want to do a little mini tournament
Hmm.
for whatever, or just get your practice in for the tournaments at the major convention? Yeah, feel free to come through, and if you just want to get to know us more about the FGC and the Middle Georgia scene and swag our nerds and what we do and whatnot, feel free. No, definitely ask questions and feel free to hang out. We'll be there. I'll be there all weekend. I'll be there Friday actually. I'll be
Yeah,
taking the day
I
off.
think we will be there the whole weekend. I mean, we should. I
Yep,
mean, we
yep.
were last year.
But definitely, yeah. So that's for those. Like I say, if you can't make it a combo breaker, there's MomoCon at least. Of course, we'll have the 404, probably the Data People, and many others going to be at MomoCon as well. So, like I said, the FGC family will be there, and yeah. So definitely, definitely, definitely. That's all the news for today, and so yeah.
All right. Well, and there it is. There's the list of events that we have in the pipeline going down quite soon within the 2 weeks. Here, same week as the Kuma patch drops. So definitely going to be an exciting time for all too as well. But once again, want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the live broadcast. If you came in a bit late, do not worry. This podcast episode will be archived and uploaded to Reboot Retrocade Gaming's YouTube podcast list for episode 13. If you want to check in from the beginning, please feel free to once it's uploaded. Retro will send out that message and I'll post it up on social media, letting the world know that it's available for view here. So want to thank you guys so much for your continued support for this ongoing particular series. We're wrapping up season three. Season three is probably much longer than it's been what season two was. We cut that short due to because it was like the start of another. It was the start of Street Fighter Six, so we wanted to come in with a brand new season on that. So just stay tuned for updates in regards to the episodes. Big things in the works. I have to get retro and we'll talk about it here. So thank you all so much for your support. Once again, Verus, thank you so much for your time
Thank
and
you
coming
guys.
in to come in and chat and talk with us. But before we get up out of here, do you have any shout outs or any last words of wisdom you'd like to drop to the world?
Nah, man. Just shout out to the Middle Georgia scene. Come out to your locals. I'll say it one more time, and this was fun. This was fun. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit, man. I hope you guys have me back. I hope you guys have me back. I enjoyed this.
So where can the good people find you at or check you out
At
for your
Swagged Out
content?
Nerds, we swagged out nerds everywhere, man. Just Google Swagged Out Nerds and you'll find us.
That's it. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
Hey,
like it.
hey,
I
when I
like it.
found out you could Google us, I was, whoo
Google my name.
hey, yeah.
There it
So
is, yeah.
yeah, Google Swagged Out Nerds, you'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
well, thank you all. Thank you so much for your support. Retro, what you got for the good people before we get up out of here?
All right. Well, like I said, thank you guys once again for tuning in for tonight's episode, and definitely, definitely, I hope you guys get a good perspective of what it's like to hear from an esports organization, and kind of like the outside looking in, but also trying to be more involved with the community, and also, of course, the main thing about it, ultimately, support what you claim to love.
Mm,
Yeah,
So
a word,
it's too
a
real. It's too
word,
real, man. Why is it so? Why is that so good?
a word.
Why is that so? They get retro. It's not supposed to be that good, but it is. It's great. I love it, man. That is
it's
such a
so
great
simple.
motto, man.
It's
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 so
so
simple.
simple.
It is so simple. And we'll probably have to touch on that in another episode because there is something a little spicy that
Mm.
we have to, we'll probably take a look at, man. It's just, uh, yeah, just stay tuned. That's all I can say. But that looks like that'll wrap it up for episode 13. Once again, thank you so much, Swagged Out Nerd for joining us. Uh, Safe, take care. Retro, I don't know if you ready to send us over to another land, but that's going to conclude it for this episode. You guys be
Hmm.
safe. Thank you all so much for the new followers. and new subscribers to the platforms. We're gonna just keep growing. We're just gonna keep moving, and check you guys out next time. Peace.
GG.